More than just the highlights, KTLA5 takes you inside the week's biggest stories with the players, the coaches, and the fans. KTLA5 Sports Final, tonight at 11:30. Brought to you by your Southern California Ford dealers.
KTLA Plus. Download it free today.
Love how I do it. Yeah.
Broadcasting across California with Nikki Lorenzo. This is Inside California Politics.
Glad you're with us this week. I'm Nikki Lorenzo in Sacramento. This past week, I sat down with Katie Porter, who was running for California governor, for her first interview since the two now viral videos calling her temperament into question. We've been airing clips of our conversation over the past few days on all of our Nexstar stations across the state. But today, you are going to see the full interview. Here it is. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me. So this is your first time speaking publicly since the now two viral videos. What do you want people to know about you, and do you have the temperament to be the next governor of California?
When I look at those videos, I want people to know that I understand that I could have handled things better. I think I'm known as someone who's able to handle tough questions, who's willing to answer questions, and I want people to know that I really value the incredible work that my staff can do. I think people who know me know I can be tough, but I need to do a better job expressing appreciation for the amazing work that my team does.
So you touched on it there. Do you regret what happened?
But definitely could have handled things better. I want to make sure that people understand why I'm in this race and what I'm fighting for. I think when I'm traveling the state, what I'm hearing from people is that they understand we're in a very extraordinary moment, that what is happening with Donald Trump attacking our economy and our society, our long-standing challenges with affordability, people know that we're going to need someone who's going to be strong, who's going to be tough, who's going to be a fighter, and who's going to push. I think if people are looking for someone who's going to sit in Sacramento quietly and kind of rubber stamp things, that's not me. But I absolutely could have handled things better.
Specifically on the staffer video, did you apologize to that person?
I did.
What was that conversation like?
I expressed that I was sorry, that I had lost my, temper, that I'd been frustrated in the moment, and I told her I was grateful that she had taken the time to correct me. We were able to redo the shot. I got the facts right. So I really expressed in that moment, and will continue to express to my staff how much I appreciate them and to have my actions match that.
And speaking of your staff, I want to get the quote correct here. After that second video was released, you put out a statement saying, quote, "I sought to be more intentional in showing gratitude to my staff for their important work." What does that look like?
Well, I think for me it means recognizing how much they're doing and that they're doing it all because they care about California. They care about the direction of this country. That's why we're all here. That's why we're a team. People think about the viral videos that I've had, taking on CEOs, holding them to account, getting free COVID testing. That happened because my staff worked with me. We worked together as a team. And so all of my actions need to be consistent with that, and I know that situation did not reflect that. That's why I'm very aware that I needed to do better.
It was also reported that in that video, then Secretary Jennifer Granholm was on the other end of it, and you were quoted in reports saying, despite raising a lot of money for the Democratic Party, quote, "I don't fit the photo op for some reason," meaning you haven't been invited to the White House. What did you mean by that?
I, at that time, had not been invited to the White House. I was after that. She was asking me what my engagement had been with President Biden. And so I was telling her I had not been invited to that point. But look, it's a huge House of Representatives. And so everybody waits their turn and takes their turn and gets a chance. I was so proud to host President Biden when he came to Orange County to talk about the passion that we both have in common for bringing down the cost of prescription drugs. And so I appreciated all of the conversations and opportunities that I've had to engage with him.
It sounded like you felt like it was personal. Did you feel like it was personal at one point?
I have a really good personal relationship with President Biden, and I'm really proud to have worked hard to put his agenda forward. I think people can see in this moment of Trump attacking us, peeling back our projects in California for green energy, attacking our federal research funding, driving up costs, tariffs that are hurting small businesses. I think people can see that President Biden was really focusing on them and on their and understood, like I do, what it's like to have to feed your family, what it's like to push a shop hard. That's what Californians are thinking about and want a governor who's going to tackle those challenges head on.
Your opponents, Democrats and Republicans, have used this has an opportunity to pass your fitness to be governor into question. Betty, fellow Democrat, has called for you to drop out. She actually held an event today, a virtual event. It was titled, Katie Porter will drag down the Democratic Party ticket, and essentially said in that event that we need someone strong at the top of the ticket, because if we don't have a strong person, that could potentially affect down ballot races. Democrats need to win back the House.
Well, what I'm hearing from Californians is that they want to fight at the top of the ticket. They want someone who understands that we're not in the past of politics. I ran my first race because Donald Trump was elected. I ran a tough race in Orange County, about half Democrats and half Republicans, and I've won those races again and again because I'm very, very hard to listen to voters and to communicate to them what is at stake in this election, to help them understand that I am going to put them first and fight for them. Californians understand that Prop 50 is about making sure that California doesn't have a target on its back. So I've been proud to support Prop 50. I'm going to continue to do everything I can to make sure that it passes, that we win back the House of Representatives, which I've done a lot of campaigning over the years for my, obviously in Orange County, but also for candidates around the country for the House of Representatives, whether that's fundraising or online events. And so I think California is going to need to lead the way in that charge, and I'm ready to do that. And I have the campaign experience, winning the exact voters that are going to be key for us to win back the House.
So your Democratic opponents have tried to characterize this as a pattern. It's not just them, it's also other folks in the Democratic Party. There was a clip, we're going to play it for you. Longtime Democratic strategist Dan Turbine on his show on the app had this to say. We're going to play it for you and then have you react on the other side.
Who Katie Porter is. I spent a lot of time around the office.